So, um, this is a brief one, not all, of Madam Ama Sewa Nekwe Tete. That's the full name. So, Ama Sewa Nekwe Tete serves currently as the head of secretariat at the Ghana Commission for UNESCO, a government agency that plays a dual role of ensuring the visibility of UNESCO and its programs in Ghana and the visibility of Ghana and its contributions to discussions at UNESCO. She is an experienced educational manager, consultant, and communications professional with a proven track record of working to the highest standards with the best educational institutions in the United Kingdom and Ghana. She is also an examiner for international examination bodies, Cambridge, IGCSE, and IB Diploma. As a subject coordinator at SOS Herman Gemnia International College and director of studies at Association International School, she gained substantial management experience in the creation of institutional structures and capacity building. In all these positions, she demonstrated competence in analyzing complex issues and developing sound resolutions to such in a fast-paced environment. She is multilingual, fluent in English, Twi, Ewe, and with a working knowledge of French. She is a well-respected teacher of English language, communication studies, and theory of knowledge, successfully preparing students for examinations and supervising the writing of extended essays. She is currently studying for an MPhil in educational leadership. Done already? Done. Oh, okay. So almost. This is not updated. All right. So she's done with the MPhil and currently, so he did that at Leeds University, a postgraduate certificate in education from University of Bedfordshire, and an honors degree in English and French from the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is just brief because of time. If I should read, we will not go. Let's welcome.
In fact, at this point, anybody who didn't go to Ghana, you should bow your head in shame. Yaji Halfa, Bishop, esteemed, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, dear youth, good morning. See, the reason why Arthur Kumi keeps saying I have to give a solidarity message is because he knows I have to go. I have another program. But he also knows I could not pass up this opportunity to speak to young people. It's one of my passions. And let me also say that, I'm done with the MPhil. It is the PhD that I'm struggling with. All respect to you, Doc. We are on it and it's not easy. I am grateful for the opportunity to speak to you this morning. I was told to make sure what I say bears on public service and international public service. So I'll try very hard not to. I do a lot of youth work. It is my passion. I think I felt so misunderstood when I was a young person. I like to speak my mind. The only reason why I wasn't a prefect in Ghana is because I would say it as it is. If it wasn't fair, I'm going to tell you, etc. People didn't like that. Adults, they still don't. And then growing up, I learned a few things. And I thought that because in Ghana, we are proudly religious, I will start with a verse that you all know and probably can say so well, which is in 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 12, which says, "Let no man despise your youth, but be an example of believers in word, in conversation, in charity, in spirit, in faith, in purity. Do not let anyone despise your youth. And God wrote this verse for Ghana. It is very easy for us. That's our culture. We immediately ascribe, and Atapakumi is my junior. Where is he with his white beard? But I am sure if I told you to do something and he told you to do it, you're probably going to do his because you can tell he has got the white beard. He must be older. And this is how we have always done things. There is good reason for it. I'm not going to say that it makes no sense. To be able to know how to handle certain things in life, you need to have experienced it. And experience comes with age and with time. And therefore, the deduction becomes the older you are, the more knowledgeable you are about things. I'm intentionally not using the word the wiser you are. The more knowledgeable you are at knowing how to handle certain situations. And so my esteemed brother here, the CEO of the Ghana Library Authority, what business does he have? He just celebrated his 40th year. Have we done the 40th? Not yet. 35, 36. I mean, are we serious as a nation? Is that not what we will say? What business does he have working at the Ghana Library Authority? We are not playing. This is not child's play. We must be serious as a country. What do you mean? Baby. But then we have Finland and a head of state who is 33 years old. We have ministers across the world who are in their 30s. We had Macron. I mean, let's just say Finland, you may think of it as a small country. Maybe you don't need much to be able to rule it. Macron for France. Then you begin to see that maybe that blanket assumption that you need to be old to be able to do certain things may not be true after all. We work in public service, so I'll be referring to him a bit. Hayford Sian sitting here. And it's a very interesting place to go to, especially if you did not start working there. And I didn't. And I came from Kandu. I came from, there are KPIs. This is what you have been asked to do. Do it. If you don't do it, you are in trouble. You can hold your head high up and walk about because you know you have met your key performance indicators. You can tell people I'm getting the promotion that's coming. It's not whether the boss likes me or not. I was told to deliver. I have over-delivered. There is no way I'm not getting it. And then we are asked, I am asked, and I'm sure he as well, will you take up this position, etc.? Full of patriotism. We say, yes, why not? 37, that's how old I was. 37 is not young. Do you know that? I don't know by which the UN says to be in the bracket of youth, you have to be between 15 and 24. We can't force ourselves at 37 into youth at any point. We try. There you say young at heart, isn't it? However, people's first perception was Yakofa Kolabi na Abetinaho to mean you've brought this young person. And because I am female, the next thing has to be, oh, she must be somebody's girlfriend. This is what they do, etc. And then we start to work. My organization is over 60 years old. But you look at what has not been done. And then you wonder. And meanwhile, my predecessors all retired on the job. And no disrespect to them, I'm just making a point. So they all at least were there till they were 60. So where has she come from, etc. Now, in the 6 years that I have worked in this institution, I thank God that I was my age when I started. Because the running around, the late nights, the extra work, the travel, what it takes to do a decent job, not even an excellent job, is so much that I ask myself, a 55-year-old would want to do this? Especially if you can see retirement beckoning. And you know how the human body is. At 55, unless you are a super person who goes to the gym, etc., your knees and your elbows, etc., are beginning to complain. You're beginning to have aches and pains. People will come to work at 9. They will sit at their table. They will do their best. They will sign things, but they cannot be bothered much. We know that youth is a time like no other. I mean, for the Bible to actually pull out the time of youth, and I'm not preaching, so I won't tell you, but you all know about Daniel. You know about Abednego, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. You know about Timothy himself, who was writing this. Examples of young people and what they have been able to do. I believe they were put there for example to tell us. You know about Jesus. He was 33. To save the world is not a small job, is it? He prepared, but at 33, he was ready. So if you are going to do your best job at 33, when should you start? I want to make this interactive. When do you think you should start? Now, if it's not too late already. You see, the reason why 15 to 24 is seen as the age of youth, it is not because of adolescence. It is seen as a time when in most places people can work. In most countries, if you are 15, you can take a part-time job. You can start flipping burgers somewhere. You can look after your father's shop. In Ghana, if your mother sells buffaloat, you can sit there for her while she goes to the market and comes. Already, you are beginning to be productive. You are beginning to make a difference. And you would realize that a lot of what you become and how you become is how you start that time. If you are cheating in exams in SS1, at which point you are probably 15. If you are learning that so long as you smile very nicely, that male teacher will let you get away with not doing the homework, and therefore you will do that. If you are experimenting with every drug and being who you are not at home, just because you are in boarding school, you are building the building blocks for who you become when you grow up. Hello? You are building the building blocks for who you become. There are stories of people who have changed in their 30s and 40s. So I'm not saying it can't be done. But by and large, you can tell from the beginning, and there are many African proverbs that make that point, that as soon as something starts, even in farming, if it's going to do well, you can tell from how it sprouts. And so the age of youth is a very important time. The United Nations has the UN Youth Strategy, and I will urge you all to download it and read it. All the UN bodies have a youth strategy, but it derives from the United Nations Youth Strategy. Why did the United Nations make a youth strategy? They also came from the same place that we did. That thinking that the older you are, the wiser you are, the more knowledgeable you are. And so when the big men sit around the table to take decisions that affect the world, they are invariably male. They are in their 50s, very nicely suited, etc. And they take these decisions. We had the Millennium Development Goals, the MDGs. And at the MDGs, there was a review. How did we do? We had 10 goals. We will do this, we'll do this, we'll do that. And one of the things that came out from the review is that the things that you wanted to do, none of the young people did it. Only you in your offices knew that the whole world has decided to do A and B. But why didn't the young people do it? Who can guess? Who can guess? Why didn't they do it? I'm going to wait for an answer. You heard that I was a teacher, right? Still am, actually. Why do you think that the UN decided on 10 goals and said we will do this by the year 2010. And at the end of the year 2010, we said young people did not engage. Guess, why do you think that was? Okay, they are not involved in decision making. They were not informed. That's where I wanted to go to. So even if you are not informed, then decision making, you forget it. No one told the youth. We realized the big people were so important. They wrote it in big books and they kept it in their offices and they did signs. Have you seen the SDG wheel? Have you seen it? How many goals are there? 17. I need 5. Any 5 in any order. You don't even have to tell me which goal it is. Between 2015 and 2030, the entire world, symbolized by the United Nations, has decided to pursue 17 goals. What are they? Oh, I want just 5, not all 17. 0, no poverty. Please clap for him. He was close to it. There is something that says 0. So if you remember that, who remembers the 0 one? Yes. 0 hunger, we've got 2. No poverty, 0 hunger. What about it? Yes. Quality and accessible education. So we've got 3. You are not doing badly at all. I'm not asking you. Don't worry. She didn't win best teacher for nothing. I'm sure she knows all 17. I'm not asking her. I'm asking the younger people. Any more? Decent work and livelihood. Thank you. One last one.
Climate action.
Climate action. Oh, I think you can clap for yourselves. So in 2010, the decision was made that if there is to be a new set of goals, one of the things that really must change is who you address the goals to. And I can even tell that we still haven't done it very well if I had to struggle to get 5 out of you. Because these things are not to be done in the offices alone. The government has a role to play. But let's take climate. Who will change our planet? It has to be the people. I went to the market this morning. I had to rush early in the morning, 6, I was there. And the 5 ingredients that I bought, I got 12 polythene bags for it. And that is because I was in a rush. I always go to the market with a basket. I think I'm one of the few people who do. Just because knowing what I know about the planet, I cannot be buying things in polythene bags like that. And when I kept insisting that it's okay, onion, you add it to the pepper and tie it, it's fine. They didn't understand it. So they'll put it in a white one, then they'll put it in a black one, and then they'll put it in what they call a takeaway. Design kakra so that you can hold it. 3, for maybe 6 tomatoes that you will use in the next 20-15 minutes, and then you'll be saddled with 3 polythene bags. We don't recycle as a country. A few people may pick bottles here and there, but we throw everything away. And that's why these floods are happening. We are choking our gutters, etc. The point I'm trying to make, dear young people, is that we realize that not bringing young people to the table really cost us. Because if you want change, it has to happen with the youth. Did you hear about some young people in the Western region who had started a little guerrilla group? They had actually just tried to inaugurate it when they were arrested. And their sponsors apparently are from Australia, and they are starting a local branch of the Wagner Group. The Wagner Group is in Russia. They are mercenaries. That means they are soldiers for hire. They don't belong to anyone. If you can pay, we'll come and kill people for you. And the last we heard, they were in Burkina Faso. The border between Burkina Faso and Ghana is very porous. You can just walk across in many places if you know this. It tells us that people are trying to mold and form generational thinkers, leaders. Others are also very busy trying to mold the other type. In my line of work, we do a lot against disinformation and misinformation. We have a way of telling what is disinformation, what is misinformation. And we realize that, especially in the border towns, people are creeping in and are beginning to tell our young people things. And they are so angry and they are so ready that if anybody should come, so what they are doing is making them fertile. So that if anybody should come and take up arms, so many of them will follow. And they feel very righteous in their anger. All our leaders are failing us. And all they're doing is spending our money. And so if we kill them, what happens? They must die so that we... And if we do not try to reverse it, if we do not try to tell young people that your voice is important, you must call leadership to account. You must tell people things are wrong when it is wrong. But there is a way to do it. Don't let anyone despise your youth. Don't let them have a stereotype of youth being about being brash, not speaking well, being disrespectful, etc. They say there are many ways of killing the cat, isn't it? If the young people of this room, of the country, of a certain era, get up unhappy about something, give out their intent to demonstrate, do everything, go on a peaceful demonstration, or let not get into the papers. If you sit in your corner and you make noise and you insult, or you call one radio station every now and then and you insult people, might that get you what you're looking for? So it's about responsible youth. It's about recognizing the power that you have as young people and using it to your advantage. And do you know what makes you special in Ghana? You are in the majority. Africa is the only continent that has young people as its majority. What that means is that if we play, you people can pack us all out and occupy. But we know you won't do that, will you? The youth strategy, I'm reading a short preamble, acts as an umbrella framework to guide the entire UN as it steps in its work with and for young people across its 3 pillars: peace and security, human rights, and sustainable development in all contexts. It seeks to significantly strengthen the UN's capacity to engage young people and benefit from their views, insights, and ideas. To engage young people and benefit from their views, insights, and ideas. It seeks to ensure the UN's work on youth issues is pursued in a coordinated, coherent, and holistic manner. There are some problems only young people can solve. The first type is young people's problems. Because to be able to solve a problem, you have to connect with the problem, isn't it? Sometimes you drive on a poor road. You are so upset. So haven't they seen that our road is in this state? And then somebody will tell you, no, they haven't seen. They are driving in 4x4s. How will they see? They don't feel the potholes. It is he or she who is in the problem who exactly knows how it is and how it can be solved. The first thing that the UN has told us, all countries, Ghana included, is that at every decision-making table, there must be a young person. At every decision-making table, there must be a young person. We are failing. I have written to a lot of organizations to tell them they are failing in that. It's very difficult for them, even when they say the person is young, the person is 30. They've tried. What about this person? And when that young person is there, he or she is invariably the one taking minutes or making tea. Then they have to take the box with it. We have one young person. But that's not what we mean. What we mean is that if there is a PTA and it's parents and teachers and you are about students, you should have student representative. You as parents and teachers cannot decide for students when you do not know how it feels to do this. And that's why a lot of our policies fail. Because we are not, this is a very popular term, we are not on the ground. We don't know what the grounds are like. Call the people who are on the ground and ask them, what do you want? How can we make this a better place for you? What do you think will help? How can we ensure that your time here at this school is better, is good? If we begin to speak to young people and not see them as people that we are against, we will go very far. A lot of things happen. There is something sharp about a young mind. Very, very sharp. It's not encumbered by the vicissitudes of this world. School fees, wife, children, etc. They are free to think. And sometimes the answer is very easy for you, isn't it? It's like, let's just do it this way. And if adults will just humble ourselves, we can take a step back and say, actually, what they are saying is true. Let's just do it this way. I am not shy. I have a lot of national service personnel at my workplace. After management meetings, etc., I walk into the office and I say, this is the issue. What should we do? Best answer, we'll get free lunch all week. And then they get to in 2 hours. And sometimes when they see somebody walking towards my office, the others start running because they want to get the idea in before they do. And they are used to it. I see them go after each year, very confident young women and men who just know that they can also contribute something. They have come in. They have come in ready to work. When they ask me to write a reference for them, I'm more than happy. And I don't have to lie. I'll tell them what they can do. This person can do this. They understand that until the work is done, we don't get up and go because it's 5. They understand how to work to schedule. They can manage a project from beginning to end. Even if it's a small project, they can do this, they can do that. All because we have given them the opportunity. No, they still buy the wache. I'm not saying I don't send them. They still buy the wache, but we engage them, we involve them in the work that we are doing. So when you are attached to somebody's department, you actually work in that department, guided, of course. And most of them, whenever we can retain people, we retain them because we realize the gem that they are. I would like to conclude soon because I also like to talk a lot. If you leave me, I'll carry on for a long time. My message, and I think maybe when Hayford comes, he will say it, is that it is not easy to do certain things that are seen in a certain mold. Public service, public sector work is one. They think you should enter when you finish university, and you should make your way slowly to the end. And the way the climb is, you should only get to the top when you are at least 57, 58. 3 years, you retire. Somebody else comes and someone else comes. In a lot of jobs, there is wisdom. There is a reason for that. But people should be taking on their ability. Hello? I am speaking to the young people, especially those of you who know that innately you have some leadership ability. You know that you just need it polished a little bit. You need to study people. And let me pause here to talk about the power of apprenticeship or mentorship or discipleship, whatever you call it. Because even a gem in the raw needs to be polished. So even when you realize that you have something, don't just leap too quickly. Because even with all that knowledge, there are certain pitfalls that only experience can show you. Does that mean you must wait and experience all of that? No, there are people around you who have experienced these. And they are a storehouse of knowledge that you can tap into. And as you tap into their knowledge, you see that you are leapfrogging. You are not growing by year. Wise beyond your years. That was said about Jesus, isn't it? You are leapfrogging. You are about 30. But the things you can do, the way you think, is that of a 50-year-old. So that whilst you still have energy, you can change things. We can't wait for you to be 50 to think like a 50-year-old and then be tired all too soon. Are you with me? Do you understand the point that I'm making? So I suppose this morning I just came to encourage you. Pali, well done. I like it when young people are put together like this. And usually when I finish speaking to young people and I say, I'm very ready to mentor you, I get about 50. Please mentor me. Can I have your number? And then I give it out. And you never hear from them. Once in a while, I was like, oh, my school fees. I just need 1,000 cedis more. And then I'll be fine. And I said, but you don't understand mentorship. You haven't told me anything about what you're doing. You haven't invited me to share my opinion on anything. What course you are doing, how you got there, the decision you took. How is it that when it came to school fees that you have remembered that you have a mentor? It is not an advantage thing, an extra parent. That's not what a mentor is. A mentor is actually doing work with you, helping you climb the ropes and find your feet. And if you use it very well, if you use mentorship and coaching very well, you'll be all the better for it. I have certainly benefited from a lot of people. I'd like to say thank you all for the opportunity and God bless.
Can we be seated? So please let the stage be set for the resource persons to take their seats.
All right, thank you very much. It's a good morning for me. Good morning to my panelists. So my name is Jamal Abi. Senor, I'm sure a lot of people would love to know you. So just give us a brief about you and then resume in.
Yeah, I'm Senor Husi. I'm an entrepreneur and a social activist. I'm very passionate about the youth. The future is definitely yours. I'm an expired youth. So are almost everyone here. In fact, everyone here, unless, of course, you are 35 and younger by Ghana's definition. I'm an economic policy analyst. I'm a serial investor in technology, finance, and that's my regulator sitting here. I have to be careful. I'm also into policy development and advocacy itself. I used to be a lobbyist, but I can't even lobby for my own self. But I hope that you guys have a fantastic session. It's important we have the youth own the space. I really love that previous speaker's submission. I thought it was quite long for the program, but I wouldn't take a single minute out of her time. I wish she actually spoke a bit more. The truth is, you have to own your future. We had a responsibility and we have a responsibility to make your future brighter and better. We have failed.
All right, so we'll come back to you. Let's go to Prof. Prof, tell us about you.
I think the easiest way to know a person is to ask them to tell you about themselves. So my name is Enoch Opoku Enchi. And when you say tell us about you, I don't even know where to start. From primary school or from middle school?
Okay, so introduce yourself in 1 second.
Amasewa, who just spoke, was my classmate from Form 1 to Form 5 at Ghana Senior High School. And then in 6th form, I moved to Opokuwari and she stayed in Ghana. So I am a beacon. And I was a morning show host on radio. I worked with the German government as a manager in the Volta region for 3 years, GTZ. And then I moved to the States about 20 years ago. I have been the head of department for about 3-4 different universities. When you talk about 3 top professors in servant leadership in US, I'm one of them. And I have published many leadership books and articles, spoken at different conferences all over the world. But when people see me in the elevator and ask me, are you Prof. E? And I say yes, and say, can you autograph your book for us? We bought your book. And aside, they will ask me, so where are you from? And every day it reminded me that I am not from there. So I need to come home. And from January this year, I have been the Dean of School of Business and Communication Arts at Academic City University. So I am home.
Welcome home. Rev, some people might not know you. They've seen Reverend Ubami all around. But tell us about you in just less than 1 minute, 60 seconds. Okay.
Sure, thank you. Reverend Daniel Ubami Tete is my name.
I love people. I love to teach. I love to make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you. Papa Joe, please, we want to know you.
My name is Benajoa. I taught in high school 40 years ago, lectured in the university 25 years ago. I'm a child of God.
So you see?
That's very important for me. I ran my own consultancy firm many years ago, Pentax. I'm retired, but I do a lot of speaking. Many years, I think there was there to me who was running Foundation for Future Leaders. Yeah. One of the young men I mentored. So when they call me, I just want to be here and share what we have.
We are excited to have you. And you, Mr. Youngman, tell us about you.
I'm not a young man any longer. So my name is Eposiao. And when I was appointed by His Excellency the President, I was 32 years. Probably so I was a youth then. But after 6 years, I think I can belong to the league. So I'm the head of the Ghana Library Authority, helping to connect Ghanaians to knowledge resources.
Nice. I think you can clap for them. Usually when people give us their profiles and we read them, we don't get some details like you just had. And so I'm excited we did this. Let's zoom in straight. All right, so let's look at your background. To what extent has your formative years contributed to who you are today?
I come from a family of 10. I'm the only Ghanaian. I grew up in a house with so many people. It made me appreciate the need for interdependence, the need for us to strive to impact and support others. It has grown with me. I didn't grow up with luxury around me. I have sold bread, I've sold meat pie, I've sold almost anything. I have seen tough life, I've seen flexible life. I aspire to make people have life much easier than I ever had. So impacting life and society and making me see that life is beyond a very small space has been a key feature defining my present and my future. And I will credit that to my my formative life. I went to a Saito. I don't know who knows Saito here. I'm sure I have my members here. Charlie, what's up? All right. And in our days, you had St. Teresa's, Bishop Bowers, where my wife went to, and Christ the King. Nowadays, all those ones too are almost becoming Saito. So now the GIS and all that communities. When you work with these St. Teresa's boys, 1, 2, 3, no, they say you are bad. I mean, it has a way of dealing with your esteem and making you feel you won't count. But you know, life, you have 2 ears, the nose, 2 nostrils, 1 mouth. We all have 2 legs. The road is our front. You will fight and you can win. Never be intimidated by anybody's history, his presence. The only thing you have today is your today and tomorrow. And it's up to you to redefine that space. While people may have thought they were intimidating me, they were actually inspiring me to really prove them that I could be bigger and better. We all have different stories. We have different opportunities in life at different times. You know, the regulator here today used to be marketing big time investment, talking to all of us on campus. Today he's a regulator and I'm a businessman. He's regulating me. Life has a funny way of unveiling itself. Don't think little of yourself, no matter how little somebody thinks of you. The first thing you have is you. And you must stand and defend and fight for the best that you can be. It is open.
All right. It is open.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Prophet. Now let's move to Prophet E. Prophet E, give us your background and how it has affected you and reshaped you.
Thank you. I think you charmed Senior to stay. That's a good thing.
Thank you.
I was born a couple of decades ago in Koforidia, the day that intravenous infusion was launched. and Otumfo Pokuware came from Kumasi to do that, and they're naming me after him. But my father had just finished school, training college, post-middle 4 years, and he was posted to Abu Abu number 4, 7 miles away from Domai Crow. So that is where I grew at. No lights, no teachers. So I had all my primary school there. It was just last year that I went to the place to see the school that I attended, and they just had lights. And growing up, where there was no light and no teachers, I had to learn myself. I was taught one thing: responsibility and humility. So for the first 12 years of my life, I never slept on a mattress on the floor. And that made me understand poverty. So anything that I do, it is for the justice of the poor, because I understand what it is. Now I've seen that people who have taken names here: passion, passionate this, passionate that. I've told Pakumi that your passion, according to the Greek word, is your suffering. Anything you are passionate about, you die for it. If you are passionate about women, women will kill you. If you are passionate about alcohol, it will kill you. If you are passionate about smoking, it will kill you. And if you are passionate about the gospel of gossiping will kill you. So for me, it's been a responsibility. My parents divorced when I was 14, and I rented a place at the age of 14. I had to take care of my siblings, 5 of us, me being the oldest. And 3 have their master's degree now. So anywhere that I've been, it is about responsibility. And I can advise the youth, anywhere you find yourself and you take more responsibilities, you become indispensable and they will always need you. Don't do just limited work and then go away. The last thing of my formative age that has built me is my humility. We don't teach humility anywhere, but I'm not allowed by my God to be proud. I'm always humble and calm, and that has taken me to where I am. Thank you.
Okay, sure. So I'm the last of 4 siblings, but I never had that, in quotes, baby last mindset. On the contrary, I tended to be very independent. So I went to ST, St. Teresa's, but I never was asking for help for homework and all of that. I'll quietly, do my work. So the sense of independence and responsibility has been with me. And then in secondary school at Infanspem, I became a born-again Christian. I joined an evangelistic a group called Calvary Road. I was in Scripture Union. And what that prepared me for what I do today is being able to manage a number of things at the same time. Because in sixth form, I ended up being the sacristan prefect, which in many schools is called a chapel prefect. I was a Scripture Union president. I was a president of Calvary Road, incorporated in Cape Coast. But when we did the A-levels, the grade I had was equal to what the best student in my year had. So the ability to juggle a number of things was from, secondary school. And even at the University of Legon, again, doing multiple things. I was branches director, traveling around. I remember one occasion where I traveled for an evangelistic program, got back. I hadn't finished an assignment. And then it was Monday. I went to the lecture room and I was trying to finish. The lecturer came and I had to leave to go and hide in some lecture room to complete it. And so my mates were saying that, hey, for the first time, Ogwami, you haven't turned in your assignment. Well, fast forward, I submitted it before the lecture ended. when the lecture came back the following week and marked, I had the highest mark. So one of my mates said, next time when I'm traveling for evangelistic groups, she'll
them
go
along.
with me.
Thank you very much.
So it's being able to juggle a lot of things, right from my formative period is what enables me to do what I'm able to do today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Papa Joe, we would love to know your formative days and how it has affected you.
20 children. 7 with my mother, 7 mothers. Irresponsible father. Didn't take care of any. My mother is from Lugupo. And the elders here will tell you that you will look for West Africa where there's juju, it's Wanche. That's where I'm coming from. So my goal was to take care of my poor mother and my siblings. That was what drove me. Today, my goal is also to use whatever I'm doing in life to win souls for Christ. So, Prof is saying that anything you are passionate about, you die. I'm passionate about Christ, and I want to die knowing God's word.
Beautiful.
What I will leave for you people, we're talking about intergenerational. I've seen it all. Knows me very well. I've seen it all. We must have the mind of Christ. That's what I live with you. Because, like he said, if you have the mind of Christ, it's not about going to church. If you have encountered Christ, all the things we're talking about will come into peace. That's all I was saying. So, in our aspirations, let's first and foremost know Christ. And whatever you desire, it will guide you to get there. That's what I'm saying.
Thank you very much. Mr. Siao.
Okay, so in 2005,
Your formative.
My formative years.
Yes.
I wanted to talk about how I got to where I am right now.
Go ahead.
But I think probably after when I finish, you'll probably get a picture. In 2005, I was running a travel on tour business with a friend. In those of you that are from Kumasi know North Patasi, opposite the police depot. And the work was more to help Ghanaian businessmen traveling to Korea and Japan. In 2007, the business went really down. I had moved to Accra. And those of you that know the Kwabenya-Pokwasi Road, there's a filling station, Total filling station, just at the junction of ACP. It used to be a bush. I went there and prayed for God to give me a revelation to start something on my own. And I had this revelation to start rather a business that will bring people into Ghana. And I started a social enterprise called Volunteer Partnerships for West Africa. And I just created, at that time, credit cards to purchase, say, domains online was not really common. I used Blogspot then to create sort of a blog web page, and then did mirror some link that makes the website seems like it's actually a paid-for domain. So it was volunteer.cc at that time, which was a free thing. And I listed opportunities that can attract people to come to Ghana. Fast forward, this business became very successful. Now, people coming into Ghana needed to be engaged in some sort of activities. So yes, I onboarded schools, hospitals, orphanages, so that those people that comes to Ghana goes and work on that project. Out of that, I developed literacy programs. One of them was very popular, called Street Library. And I have a school which volunteers will go and work. Now we even have a radio station. We have affordable housing scheme. All of that helps people that students wanted to take volunteership or intentional comes to Ghana. It was that project, the one of them called Street Library, that became very popular, which was funded by Reach for Change, Tigo, Viasat then. And that was how come when the Minister of Education, former Minister Dr. Matthew Poku-Prempeh was appointed as minister, discovered that, Hayford is into this. Bring me a proposal on how we can help revamp public libraries in Ghana. I did that. He called and I thought, it was just a conversation, probably to help, pray and advise or consult, because I was running my own business, only to be told that he wants the president to appoint me as the chief executive. So I really did all of this, all of this free library project out of my entrepreneurial spirit and out of passion to be able to promote, literacy. And now, for the last 6 years, I have been managing Ghana Library Authority that have won international awards. I don't have any background in library. And that's the encouragement I want to give to you, that, just pursue your passion. Probably there's something in it that can help you to be discovered. Thank you.
Beautiful. Pursue your passion. And so, Senor, he said you told virtually everything. Now, before you leave.
Except for human beings.
Except human beings. Okay. How did that background, how did it transform you to who you are today? If you want to compare and contrast the youth, the current generation that we have, do you see something missing?
It's what you are selling. What are you doing? It's an exchange. You have created value out of something and you want the person's value back, which is his cash. So you must deliver value to get value. Simple. And that's why I don't entertain conversations of, I have done this, I did this, I have spoken to him. You should focus on getting results, getting the effect, other than showing efforts. Today's generation, I don't know which generation it is, or Z or Alpha or whichever it is. I don't know. When you keep them in the office and you want certain things done, so we really need to get this project off the ground. So you have to engage Mr. A, Mr. B. They're interested in telling that I sent them a mail. I'm not interested in a mail. I'm interested in the feedback. Your job is to get things done. That orientation must change. Everything is supposed to be given them. And I think that it is our fault. That's why I said we have failed you. But if you don't wake up and start owning your own future, and you are thinking that Reverend or me will come and save you, you will die. As you are sitting here, children in Singapore are creating things. When you were actually sleeping, people in Australia were creating things. And very soon, I forgot to add that one. I'm a teacher too. I'm a lecturer at the Ghana Law School. Just side, no confuse. Get it very clear. Very soon, somebody could be sitting in America and you feel his presence right in this room. So you teach Accra, the matter has become some way. I bought an equipment just a few days ago. When I put it on the ground, it will sweep the whole place. As boy, as girl, your matter too has become some way. Please, better start thinking for yourself. Think of what value you can deliver into the future. Research instead of spending time doing IG. I didn't know IG was Instagram. I thought IG was something else. If I say it right now, I'll be in trouble. Stop spending energy looking for who is wearing what thing is funny than what. Start thinking for yourself. Because the thinking we were supposed to do for you, we couldn't do it. We are now trying to catch up. So you have to own that future. My father did not leave me anything. I had to find a way to create my own. You get it? So stop thinking that we who were supposed to do it for you have done it for you. We haven't done it. We can only tell you, we are sorry. But we are sorry will not put food in your mouth. So stop chasing politicians and chasing red and blue and green. It is bullshit. Forgive me. I knew I'll get in trouble here. Please, it is the future of your country, the future of your well-being and your children's children that should preoccupy you. When you are engaging in public conversations, be thinking about what conversations will inspire and create that future for you. When I see the youth today, they are 10 serious social activities. Nonsense. Stop that thing. None of that following NDC, following NDC, MPP on the matter and insulting people out there will better your future. Ask yourself, what thing of value can I drive If it's a policy space, start being a sound of wisdom. Like the lady before said, ideally, you should be part of our policy making processes. You are not part. I don't have any 30-year-old or 35-year-old on my board. I don't think you have one on your board. I don't know who has one on their board. But that's why policies are being made. All right? I must have been one of the very young people to have had the opportunity to have served both opposing governments as advisors to both opposing governments, to the current government, to the previous government. I was. But they kept me both there because they saw the value that I was delivering to their policy space. My age did not put me there because I won't qualify. And that is the same thing that has happened to him. You understand? But forget about the public space. In your small space, unemployment, it is big. What thing of value can I deliver? Where can I go and just create an internship for free? Let me at least learn something. The time I'm spending on the internet, yes, you laugh small, fool small. You are all human beings. Man for chill. But be real. How can you spend about 60% of your time online responding to comments and all kinds of unnecessary things? Whilst you should be thinking, what can I transform in my space? I'll give you one quick example, then I ran away. Okay. When I was in Lagos, I used to bake bread to fend for myself and to take care of my siblings. All right? I wasn't shy about it. I had to figure out how I was going to penetrate the market. Everybody would struggle to bring fresh bread. And the smell of fresh bread, if you went to secondary school, boarding house, you respect the smell of fresh bread. Yeah. I had to create a way to do it. I had to make sure I go home at a certain time, convert my two Olunka. I don't know who you know Olunka here. You don't know Olunka. I don't know how you describe Olunka. Describe it for them. I beg me, I can't help them. I moved business from two Olunka to start baking a full bag of flour at a time. But to deliver that and to penetrate the market, I realized that people wouldn't do the fresh. I go on Sundays in the afternoon from Lagos, shout on campus small, go and do my thing. By 5 a.m. or 4:30 a.m., I'm baking. By 5 a.m., I am distributing the thing in people's doors before they leave their area. By 7:30, I'm in Lagos live. Before anybody will even start going for their lecture. You give me fans crying behind the thing, but you have to define what value you get in a given space. And that orientation is not static. But you must look for creative ways to get things done. Look for needs that are in the environment. How can we transform the way we do things? I'm not a man of technology, but I'm investing heavily in technology today. Why? Because technology is the future. Because it is transforming the way people do things. And you don't need to be a technology expert, but you should be somebody who is able to identify and understand problems and define processes that can solve them. Then you get somebody who can press the 0 and 1s to code it for you. If not, go and learn it yourself and do it. Yours may be fashion. Yours may be something else. And when you are thinking, don't think small. Ghana is getting small because the people in Singapore are looking at how to consume you. The people in China are looking at how to consume here. So also think of how to consume other markets as well. The world is big. Dream big. Get it done. And own that future. And start making proper sense on the internet. Thank you.
Thank you. The world is big. So create big dreams. Thank you very much, Senor. You see, you were going with all this wisdom. Let's clap for him before he leaves. Thank you very much. Profi, now, Senor has set us on a different level. What do you think is missing in the current generation?
Two things are missing: character and mentorship. Your character is your destiny. Please do not ever forget, your character is your destiny. And you reach your destiny by choices that you make. And the reason why even God, the Creator, do not interfere in our choices is that if He interferes in your choice, then He cannot judge you. So He allows you to make all the choices, and then you can account for those choices. In this world, we don't dream together, but we share our dreams. Now, God is a very interesting man. He has a sense of humor, and sometimes He looks at us and shakes His head. In all my travels, this is what I've found. Do you see the same Atlantic Ocean here? There's no tsunami. There's no hurricane. I come to US 38 times in a year. Why has it been so good to some people? Rich land, there's nothing wrong with the land or the environment or the people, and yet they are poor. Go to Congo. Congo will tell you that they are the bread basket of all natural resources. And yet they have what they call the breaks, Dajon or something. By 12 to 3, everybody go home to club. They have day clubs to have fun. That's what black people know. Have fun. And sex. When Trump talks about it, that is all we do. Sex, alcohol, and then grilling, chilling. That's what we know. When people are cracking their brains, not sleeping. So let me tell you a story about the passionate obsession. When God wants to show you something, he will show you the end, but he will not show you how you get to the end. So Joseph wanted to be a leader. He's having a dream. He will lead his brothers and stuff. But God never showed him where he will pass before he get there. Okay. That's how God works. All right. So when Joseph got to Egypt, we know the story. He settled at Goshen. Now if you go to Goshen today, that is the best part of Egypt. It's like Trasaco of Ghana. So, according to Genesis 50, 24, 25, Joseph was about 140 years and about to die. And he called his brothers and said, Papa Jacob left you to my care. That is responsibility. But before Papa died, he told me one thing, that our great-grandfather Abraham and our grandpa Isaac had a covenant with a God. And the God said he will settle you where? In Israel. But now you are all into my care. I'm the reason why you are in Egypt. And I'm also about to die. But this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my bones as an insurance. When I die, do not ever bury me until God, who promised our great-grandfather and our grandfather and Papa Jacob, who died, until he settles you on Israel, the land he promised them, do not ever bury me. So Joseph's bones were carried by his brothers for 400 years.
Did you know that?
Until they settled in Israel before they buried him. He used his bones as an insurance for his brothers. That's what leadership is about. Are you ready to do that? Are you ready to do that? Ask yourself. So I have been mentored by people who don't look like me. Everywhere that I've stayed in America and thought I'm the only black. There is not a single black person. Sometimes the school that I left before coming here was in the state of Wisconsin. The minority there are the Chinese monks. You will never see a black person. It's all white. And they will come and tell me, Prof. E, you are not black. So the jinxing, one day I will tell you about that, how we've even jinxed that we cannot trade among ourselves, 1.2 billion people. America is just 4% of the world population, but they consume 20% of the world resources. So how do they survive? They need you. Without you, they can't survive. So they have to use their brains because their land cannot survive them. If you go to Great Britain, they can only produce wheat and sweet potatoes. That is it. They don't have anything. But the queen who just passed, his biggest diamond is coming from Ghana. They need to survive. And before they do that, they use the brain. So two people who told me two things. Kofi Annan, I met him at, and I've met a lot of great people. When I met him at Minnesota, he told me that keep your accent. Keep your Ghanaian accent. And I kept it. In 2010, I was going to run for mayor in Ohio. We had about 20,000 Ghanaians in Ohio, and I was the Ghana Association president for about 8 years. We had 22 Ghanaian churches. Of course, wherever Ghanaians are, you see a lot of churches. And in 2008, when Obama was coming, we had a Center for Progressive Leadership. So I was going to run for mayor, and you know Jerry Springer. You've heard about Jerry Springer show. Jerry Springer was our mayor before I was about to contest. And then we had Proposition 18, which is the LGBTQ plus issue. And that is why I did not run. But Obama told me something that you need to make a decision. And I started with a decision. that we seem to see you that you have one foot in Africa and the other in America. You have to make a decision whether you want to put both in America or both in Africa, else you never succeed. And I've said it already that no matter what, I feel like I'm a Ghanaian. Mandela said at home is where mama lives.
Okay.
I am a Ghanaian. And coming home fulfills one thing. God, in his wisdom, knows why you are black and chose parents for you and made you come from this world. Let's make it great. And together, I believe that we can do that.
Let's make it great. And so, Prof. E said two of the things that are missing. What did he say? Good, you are paying attention. Character and mentorship. Rev, you come from a good home, if I should say, and being the last of 4 kids. Last baby, you've got everything. Now, how were you able to align your career? So from school, you're combining ministry. That's what it seemed. How have you been able to juggle through up to this point? And what message do you have for the young people here?
Okay, so in terms of how I've been able to
align,
I think one of the things that keep driving me is that whatever I do, I must do it well. So, and that's one of the things I would leave with the young people here, that you must have the mindset of excellence. Excellence means that you must do it well. And it means asking yourself, what can I change? What can I improve? What can I do better? So for me, that has been, driving me, and I recently was telling someone that one of the things that I always have with me is that anywhere I go, I must leave the place better than I found it. So if I join this organization, if I'm in this church, if I'm this fellowship, wherever I am, I must leave the place better, than how, I met it, So I just keep looking for opportunities or ways in which to make a contribution and to leave that that entity better, So that mindset of excellence, if it can be done, it must be done well. There's always a better way. There's a more excellent way of doing something. And then also the fact that wherever I find myself, I should be able to leave the place better than I found it. In terms of how I'm able to juggle all the many things I do, because people keep asking me, how are you able to do it? One, I would say, I'll point to the grace of God, which I believe so much in, and I draw upon it. But aside that, a lot of time management. In other words, making sure you make the most of time. One of the things I do is to make use of what I call time gaps. So let's say you have to wait for someone or wait for a service. You can do something within that time space. And I do that all the time. I may be in traffic. I may be waiting for something. I may be preparing my sermon notes. I'll put on a point here or have a presentation. So making use of time gaps. But the key thing is that time is an enabler. The successful, the impactful, the rich, they all have the same 24 hours. The difference is how you make use of time. So for me, I'll say time management is key. Know that there are some time hijackers, time wasters. Avoid those ones and make the most of time. And for me, that is how I'm able to do all the things I do well. Just time management. And of course, the grace of God.
Thank you. Time management, mindset, and the grace of God. Now, Papa, let me come to you. From where you sit as one of Africa's most successful corporate leaders, how do we fix the intergenerational gap Because from all that we are hearing, it looks like on most boards, you don't find young people there. How do we close the gap?
You asked a question earlier, I want to deal with that. And you say, what do I find with the current generation? I see a younger generation that are smarter than us. They have more opportunities anywhere in the world you go to. But I find people who want to be at the top. They know, most of them know where they want to go, but they don't know how to get there. And that's why you find them taking shortcuts. I will give you 10 points. Number 1, have the mind of Christ. And you can only know that by reading his word. Of all the books we've read, read the Bible. It's cheaper. You have the mind, know Christ. Don't just go to church. Number 2, know yourself. Know yourself. Who are you? My mother is an illiterate. My father didn't take chorus. But my mother used to call us geisha. Tinapa. Because I always inherit paternally. So when my father didn't take care for us, when you are misbehaving, say you are geisha, we are tinapa. Who need trade? And that is how I could come out of 26 children. All right? Because my mother didn't go to school. She had nothing. Oh, my mother said one go school into any much education you should have. But my mother will pick my results and show to the teachers in the village for them. They say my son did well. And all that she could say is that's your mommy. So know yourself, where you are coming from. Number 3, have a goal. Many of the things we are doing, you need to tell you. If you wake up and you have $1 million in your house, how do we behave? Some of us, because we don't have a goal, it's about what's it do? But there are several opportunities you could make. My 4th child finished LLB and she told me that they're going to do the BL. He said, Daddy, they said that exam, even if you pass, you may not get listed. I said, so don't you want to pass? I want to be among the top 3. Are you with me? Change the concept. My second born is doing very well. He's a vice president at Goldman Sachs. I went there last. This I've been to them several times. Say, Daddy, I want to ask you a question. When you were 28, like me, you have done so much. I'm doing well, but what was your secret? I said, I have no secret at all. My secret is knowing Christ. So have a goal. Know your environment. This is Ghana. Know your environment thoroughly. Watch your friends. Because if you are a painter and you work with painters who are building houses, you too, you think of building what? A house. Bible says, any rain good what? Morals. Next one, be good at what you do. I think that's what Reverend is saying. This is a hearsay. This morning, I tuned my radio. I watch SBN, my television. I watch SBN. Even Swagger. Then I tuned to one of the radio stations. The guy was confidently, but he was very confident about it. What he was saying was that there's no country in the whole world that was dominated by foreigners. Campaign for what's it then? My brother is talking about America. Who made America? But this one was saying that nobody would do Ghana for us until ourselves. That is good. If the policy make people take money away, it doesn't mean it's only locals who will do it. But I like the confidence with which she was speaking that line. Go on the winner. Everything you want to do in life, somebody has done it before. So pick Prof as a friend if you want to be a professor. What did you do to be there? Anna, sometimes it's more than reading any textbook. You talking about yourself. I went to school, sailing school by chance. When I finished university, and my mate said that he was and go, Exactly. The suit to wear to go and get your certificate. Me, I've never worn some before. I borrowed a suit to go and get my certificate. The governor, those are my mates. And when they see me, they are laughing. They knew this guy will make it. See failure as an opportunity. Don't let failure bring you down. Watch your own lifestyle. Your lifestyle. On Yaraba, Obi say, we have eaten so much junk that when you are eating good food, they say you are eating. We have eaten so much junk that when you are eating good food, they say you are what? Died. What I be is man easy. See, when you don't have it, you are eating your kogari. When you get small pay, you now move to go eating at Kempiski. But 2x plus 4 equals 8. It's the same as 4x plus 8 equals to 16. So mathematically, if you add the same to an equation, the equation remains unchanged. 2x equals to 4. And 2. 4x equals to 8. Answer so yeah. It's in yibin. Is your kogari? In yibin equal Kempiski. So you are just not doing right. Go to school on the winners. As it be a pede, a president. President Kufuor, Mahama so also Basraba. Yes, Ekufuado. Oye by Kubutu to Fokakra. And if you want to be a thief. How do you steal? So in the book of Ecclesiastes, Bible says that there's nothing new under the sun. Whatever you want to do, somebody can guide you. You want to be the best teacher? She's here. We don't go to school the winners. Where you have a goal, that's when you can be mentored or you can be coached. I set up my consultancy firm, not when I have no job. I was the first Ghanaian consultant to the banking industry. So those days, Kiovela, when they came, I had it. You want petrol, you go to Bank of Ghana, Sprinters Road, Ibu now, every man they are bringing what? A carton of what? Milo, this. It was in that condition that I started setting up my own what? Firm. So it's not that you must have what? A desire. He said, I pray to God what I should do. I think, have I exhausted the 10? You want is that right? And Bill Gates, it is said, went to a restaurant. His children went there earlier. And they gave a tip. $200. When Bill Gates went there, he gave them a tip of 20 cedis. $20, sorry. So they said, I must have last week, Umbeba, 200. Waragasa, 20. Also, their father is Bill Gates. Me, my father is a carpenter. So I see a new generation who want to what? Reach the top. But the steps is what they are missing. And the steps are what I'm giving to you. Go to school on the winners. Watch your lifestyle. Watch your friends. And be patient. You are rushing too much. Age is to experience more. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Wow. This is loaded. I'm sure you were taking notes. Now, let's come to Mr. Sion Hayford. We have given sheets round. Please write your questions. The floor is going to be open for you to ask them all the things bothering you, all the nuggets they are giving us. I'm sure you would want further clarification. Now, at 20 years, Sion started his business. Let me see those who are 20 years here. If you are 20, give me a wave. Okay, 3. 22. Okay, 23. Okay, so from 23 to 25. Okay, 25 to 30. Okay, do you have businesses? It's a question. Do you have businesses? Yes? Not yet. Okay. So Sion started his business when he was 20. Now, what do you think is missing? So I started with that question. This one, I want us to tailor it to our tradition and custom. Because before you can succeed in the space we find ourselves, our tradition come into play, our customs come into play, our values also comes into play. So which aspect of our customs, traditions, values do you think are missing and why?
Thank you very much.
Loaded question.
I think I strongly believe that our setup in Ghana actually allow us to be mentored right from our homes. Because my father was a policeman, so we're being transferred left and right. By my mother was a trader. So my mother growing up, I saw her trading in used clothes, yam, kente, then later on owning rubber farms and then getting into mining. And when we were in Koforidia, I used to sell ice water. Those days, it used to be a bucket. You pour water into the bucket, and then you put the ice blocks, and then you put caps on it. And I was running around, Koforidia station selling, water. We were allowed to do that. Not because maybe we needed the family needed extra income. But because we saw our parents doing it, we also wanted to do something that can also give us extra income. Because we had a fridge. And within the barracks, the compound, every child was doing such businesses to support the family. However, these days, hardly will you even see a parent allowing the child to do something on their own. Because, yes, they are afraid of the risk on the road. My son, my first boy is 12 years. But I am scared even allowing him to go out alone. For some reason, we have become a society where we have become so much afraid of each other. And for that reason, we are not allowing our siblings and our children to even explore. But we also have to understand probably the context we are in also these days. I think now there is also so much information available. And unfortunately, some of us are not really having that, are not apportioning. If in the past, you probably want to experiment by selling something to probably get extra money. Now you have the opportunity to sit at home with the help of a gadget, be able to access information and create value that can earn you something. But how many of us have even taken advantage of all of those opportunities? I told you that when I had the idea, when God gave me the vision to start a business that will bring people into Ghana, I had no idea. I had not gone to school to study anything in that area. All I did was to get on a laptop that somebody had gifted to me, connect to the internet and do research on various businesses that are in existence that bring people into Ghana. And I discovered out of research that a lot of the companies that bring young people to do volunteer work in Ghana were actually foreign companies. So we have projects abroad, international IVHQ, and all of those companies. But there was no local company. So I was thinking in my research, then, okay, what is my value proposition? What makes me unique, if I decide to be in this business, competing with these big companies? And even in writing the script for my website, I was just doing research, reading about how people have designed their website, defining the project description so that it can attract somebody who is sitting in Antwerp looking for an opportunity in Ghana. So, though you may not get the opportunity to, your parents may not allow you to go out and do other things. Now that you have your gadget here, the kind of things that you can be able to do with this, it is unimaginable. And I'm just hoping that, like Prof said, mentorship is key, because now you have the opportunity. When I was growing, I didn't have anybody to look up to. Workshop, who is going to organize such a program for you to talk to people? Unless maybe your church will invite a guest speaker, and maybe you might, be inclined to approach them if you are not so shy. But now you have access to people. You go to Facebook, you can see most people on this stage. You may see their profile. You may send, or you just bombard them a few times, and one day they will respond to you. So please, you have access to information and knowledge. Make use of it. When growing up, we didn't have access to massive open online course platforms. I don't know if you know about MOOCs. You have Coursera, you have EDX, you have Allison. All of them are providing free courses. So you don't even have to pay now to even learn how to code. I went to IPMC just after senior high school whilst waiting for my results. And that was how I became technology inclined. So my first job offer was from Benjamin & Co., a law firm in Edum. And then I moved with Papa Datsun, who was then the senior partner, to set up Datsun and Associate. That was how I built knowledge in business setup. And then when I was 20, I decided to do Damusa Unlimited with a friend. So please allow yourself access information. Make sure that you get access to relevant people that have the mindset or the pursuit that you want to aspire to be. And I think you may be better than all of us at some point. Thank you.
Allow yourself. Tell somebody, allow yourself. Allow yourself and learn. Beautiful. Puffy, he seems to have gone deep into it. So this one, just a brush, and then I'll point to what I'm sure. I saw you taking down notes. You want to add something to what he said?
No, he talked about dignity in work.
Okay.
Which is really important. I have children that when I give them money, I have 3 kids, and my son bought his first car at the age of 16. You know what he does? I brought him here in 2017, the first time my kids came here, and Pa was there. Pa organized a party for my family. Because I launched a book, Hands-on Teaching and Evidence-Based Learning in Africa. Now, he picked Shatawale and Beam Nation beat. That's all he did. When we went to UK, he picked some beats. When he went to Asia, and then he knows the beats that these rappers use in America. And he joined them together to form what he called the LB beat, because he is Eldridge. So my 2 sons, Eldridge and Elbridge, is the B and the D, that's the difference. And the white people tell me I always confuse them. So he has LD beat that he sells. If you have a rap, he will sell the beat to you and make money. He's making a lot of money. He's just 17. So think about what you can do better than anybody. I've never seen a star who imitates somebody. So be you. There can never be anybody like you. I've been coming here doing a lot of, workshop for people. There was one, Peter is here, right? Ilapi. Yes, Peter is here. And I know Peter Nyako is also here. I've done all programs with them, financial literacy, Ilapi. I do program a lot of the youth who are passionate about something. We did one for journalists. And I was one of some morning show hosts. Journalists are asking me questions and you can't even hear them. They are so timid. And it's like, how? A journalist. So if you behave like this and you come to America, I'm talking about North America, and you are so quiet and you talk like you are afraid and everything, to them you are a dummy. If you don't believe in yourself, do you expect me to believe in you? No. Believe in yourself. There's nobody on this planet like you. So just believe in yourself. Now, let me go back to what he quickly said. I've met Bill Gates in his house in Seattle. He doesn't have any of his children using computer. He has books. And there is this professor I met in Norway. His name is Professor Hefas. Very popular psychologist. So somebody traveled all the way from the north part of Norway to his house. And when he got to the professor's house, there was no furniture. So he asked, Professor, where is your furniture that I can sit on? And he first asked him, where is your furniture? So the guy got confused and he said, you see, I told you professors are crazy. I have traveled all the way from the north, come to your house, you don't have a furniture that I can sit on, and you're asking me, where is my furniture? So he asked him, what do you see at my hall here? He said, all books. And he said, okay. So now you've seen what is important to me. Books. So if furniture is important to you, anytime you are coming to me, bring your own furniture. So let me ask, what is important to you? And my good friend here talked about shortcut. Shortcut. We had a government that bought $4 million worth of past questions for students so that they can pass an exams. And when the PASCO did not show up, there was no appear. So it did not appear, they started insulting who? The president.
Profi, since you've brought in this, let me zoom into this question.
Okay.
Now, there is a clear evidence of leadership challenges.
Okay.
I'll not tell me that failure, challenges. From where you sit, what is broken and how can we fix it?
When you ask somebody who is a leadership expert about leadership failure,
I didn't say failure, I said challenges.
The challenges. Okay. So I like that. I think it's coming from our tradition. You know, culture eats strategy for breakfast. And I come from a royal family. I come from Koforidia where my friend said he was selling. So my village is not a village. And anytime I tell my kids, they laugh at me that, Daddy, you don't make sense. I come from Koforidia, which is my village, but it's not a village. Our tradition says that if I go to see my uncle who is a chief, you don't go empty-handed. You have to give them something. So you don't go to see the elders empty-handed. But anytime I will go and see my uncle, he will call my mother and tell her that Kwame came here, but he didn't come here. So I was a little bit confused and I asked him, Uncle, why? He said, you don't come to me empty-handed. You bring some schnapps and then some money. So I decided not to go there again anymore because he's my uncle in the first place. Now, what it means is that if I don't have it, then I can't come and see you. The reason why most Ghanaians, we have almost 5 million Ghanaians abroad. Anywhere you go, you find Ghanaians who cannot come home because the expectation is that if you don't have money, don't come home. So they'd rather stay there and die. That is what we've done to our own royals. Because what we're looking for is what? Money. So we identify people with money. This is Mr. A. This is his house. This is Mr. Kumi. This is his car. You know, but Elon Musk, who is the richest person in the world, don't have a home in America. For us and for white people, it is madness to have 5 houses and 3 cars. What are you doing with them? That is why they have all signed a giving pledge. If I die, half of my property should be given to the poor. So we have leaders here where our tradition of giving has become gift demanding. It's transcended all the way to public service. That instead of giving the police officer some money, they demand, Masa Yenidiyo. You see, meanwhile, you have also not eaten. But they are telling you they have not eaten. So our culture of showism is our problem. Our leaders want to sit in the palanquin, show off, so that everybody will see that they have arrived. To what extent? A leader is nothing but a servant to the people. So our showism is killing us. You go to Ghanaian churches, he buy a new suit, he will make sure he dances at the church so that everybody will see that he has arrived. He buys a new car, he will park in front of the church. He buys a new house, there's housewarming, everybody should. So we want to show that we have arrived. But there's nothing in that. Can we be a little bit humble and give to society? So all the things you see, poverty was not born yesterday. I've gone to, Dayton, Ohio, where the Wright brothers who invented airplane come from. Go and see where their house is. And I know KFC that you eat. I know their house in Kentucky. So we never know where the next greatness will come from. But I think our culture is lacking values. Values is what is lacking. So next month, my father is dead, and I'm preparing for the funeral this October 21st in Kofori. After that, in November, I'm going to launch 2 books. Mission, Vision, and Virtues of Organizations. Why all these organizations we hear have reached the level. And then I also talk about our grassroots democracy. It is built on sand and it will never last. How we can fix it.
Wow. Choice values. They are missing and we need to fix them. Beautiful. Rev, from the Christian perspective and from the business perspective, how can we fix these challenges of leadership?
So before I talk about how, let me just add one thing. I just want to add in terms of what is missing or what is broken. I would call it short-term thinking. Short-term thinking. From people wanting to get rich quick or wanting to get to the top quick, to people entrusted with responsibility, not thinking the long term. Today we are marking Founders Day, isn't it? You know, Kwame Nkrumah. Irrespective of what you think about the man, you can't take away from the fact that he was a man of vision. He was thinking far. He wasn't thinking short term. And I believe that a lot of the weakness in our leadership, we don't think far. People, when they're in position, they're just thinking of what I can do here now, you know, to make myself comfortable and all of that. I think that we should be able to inculcate, especially in the youth, you know, this mindset of thinking, you know, long term, moving away from, you know, the quick fixes, you know, the shortcuts and all of that, you know. So that's one thing I just wanted to mention. Let's get people, they are young people, as soon as they graduate, they want to become like the MD, they want to drive the car. You know, think long term, but you act in the short term. Don't only think short term and do what would, you know, inure to getting what you want in the short term. But to your question, from the Christian perspective, how can we cure this? I'll mention 2 things. One is teaching. And I think it speaks to the mindset, because if you look at what Prof said, showism, you know, it comes to the mindset. The Bible will tell you that even Jesus Christ, even though he was equal with God, you know, he didn't think equality was something, you know, to grab. You know, so I believe that the church, we can teach people to have a change of mind. Paul again said, you know, let's be transformed by the renewing of the mind. So a lot, you know, will come to, you know, training of the mind, reorientation. Prof talked about dignity, believing in yourself. Again, it comes from, you know, you've been taught that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. There's no one like you. And, you know, with God, you can, you know, go so far. So I think, you know, a lot can come from how we teach and we reorient people's mindset. And I think, especially the church, let's make sure we give balanced teaching. You know, we don't only teach. For instance, when we were growing up, and I'm sure my big brother here will attest, when we were growing up in the church, we were not even taught about the principles of making money. Well, money is important, and there are some principles that go with it. We're taught about holiness, evangelism. Yes, it's good, but I'm saying that the church must go for a holistic, balanced teaching, because you're a spirit, you have a soul, you live in a body. So we need to let the teaching to reorient the minds of people be very sound and solid. So that's one. And then the next thing I would want to mention as a potential cure is having the good role models or good examples, because people watch what you do and want to do what you do more than what you say. No matter how much you speak, people will look at your example. I think we can cure this leadership deficit when at all levels of leadership, as a father, as a mother, as a teacher, as a head of department, wherever you are. Because leadership, some people, when we talk about leadership, he's a leadership expert, we think of only the people at the top, but there are different levels of leadership. And I believe that we need to have examples, role models that can influence, the next generation, to aspire to do better. So those would be two solutions that I think can help to correct the leadership deficits.
Thank you. Uncle Ben, I'll to look at Mr. Sian. Mr. Sian, you in government. Do you think we have leadership challenges?
Rev is also in government.
I'm talking to you.
I mean,
Come to Rev. No, it's a question. Do you think we have?
There is always going to be leadership
challenge
or no? in every country.
So we have it.
It depends. You see, governance is a very huge system. Okay? And so, if our goal as a country is to make sure that our citizens are in good employment, and we have not been able to achieve that as a country over 60 years now, then of course, collectively as a country, we have failed.
Okay, so it means we have leadership challenges.
Collectively, we have failed as a country. It is not a yes or no answer, because every one of us has a role to play in our various corners. If at my agency, I am supposed to make sure that we have been in existence for 73 years, and for almost 68 years, libraries in Ghana, there were only 61 libraries in Ghana, which means that a majority of our people have not been given the opportunity to have access to knowledge, where they have to go and sit to have access to information and learn on their own. As a country, we have not. So over the years, leadership at my agency have not been proactive.
So there is failure there.
Yes, of course, there will definitely be failure. But
I think we can clap for him.
But you cannot generalize leadership gaps, because there are also in certain
jurisdictions.
No. In this country, there are also in certain quarters that people over the years have proven that they have all the qualities of good leadership and are excelling at where they've been positioned. So as I sit here, I cannot give a blanket statement that there's leadership crisis in the whole of Ghana, when I know that the prof who is in the classroom is doing his best to educate the minds of citizens of Ghana. You cannot generalize that. But if you take sector by sector, you can be able to analyze and understand the failure in that particular sector. But collectively as a country, we have not been able to get our citizens out of poverty. We are still importing food to eat in our country. Yes, collectively we have failed as a country.
Collectively we have leadership crisis. Thank you. Uncle Ben, based on the discussions that have gone on now, what will be the solution that you can propose to leadership?
Leadership is both a singular concept and a plural concept.
Okay.
Leadership is both a singular concept. It's also a plural concept. We need to appreciate that. After losing over 1 million people through war, Rwanda today, we all hailing Rwanda. And when people start going to Singapore, it used to be an island beyond the wall. Mhm. So leadership is a singular concept when you're talking about the lead. But we're talking about leadership here as creating what? Leadership at all what? Levels. I like the answer the IGP gave at Parliament. He said, if they say it's the worst IGP, then the one who made the assertion is also wrong.
Yeah,
because
always.
to him, they are in a team. So if you are in a team and we have failed, then you too have what? Failed. I just want to make that. Straight to the question you asked me. One other thing I'm leaving with you. Let us strive to live lives of integrity. Integrity is the word I want to live with you. And when we talk about integrity, it's not only about being honest. Integrity is a buffet word. Honesty is in there. Truth is in there. Trustworthiness is in there. Example is in there. And when you were a leader of integrity, and I dare say here, when President Kufuor came to office, he created a Ministry for Private Sector Development, if you remember. And at that time, I was doing a lot of work for the donors. That's where I worked. The Danish ambassador at the time, if we needed a lot of money, he needed to go to Copenhagen for approval. So he could give $400,000 what each from his own resources. You people know that money was put in my account. I was a young, vibrant consultant then. So the current president, he was the minister for what? Justice and Attorney General. And those were the days that they were creating the Business Law Division, Consequences Prepare and Co. And Kwame Nabatels was for private sector. When the two of them needed the money. So it was, you can be poor from where I'm coming from. But if you are a person of integrity, somebody will give you anything you want because what you say is what you do. Okay. The question then is, how do we mainstream integrity lifestyle in our lives? It can't occur. If we're being people of integrity, why do we have CCTV camera in the church? Sure. I saw them walking, it's called Obira. So I think if we go back to our folklore, and he was answering the question, there are bad sides and there are good sides. It will interest you that the whole of Africa, we eat two types of food. The whole of Africa. The others are staples. It's cassava. Cassava. And not rice. It's maize. So we have what? In Ghana, Fantidokun, Akole, those that go to East Africa. And we also eat communally. When the Asantini sits in state, the chief who sits here is Achampamene. Must be a true son of an Ashanti king. And Kumewu sits here. It is for what? Communication. And it's for security. So we must look at our folklore. Okay. And look at some of the things that have what? Worked there. Parenting was communal in the village. So when you do wrong, I knock you and I tell your father, I saw your son misbehaving. Today, your own mother's sister, child, staying with you, you cannot what? Correct him. Yeah. So integrity lifestyle. Thank you. And one man in the Bible of integrity is Job. So when God was asking the devil to what? Test him, he said, my son is a man of what? Integrity.
Thank you. Are you a man or woman of integrity?
And the wife also said his husband is a man of what? Integrity. And the friends also asked him, would you live your what? Integrity lifestyle? And he himself said, my integrity, I will not let it go. So it's not you saying I'm a man of integrity. How do people see you? Are you honest? Are you trustworthy? Can you be dependent on? Are you an example? And I think when we do that, we'll go a long way forward.
Thank you. Let me take a closing remarks from Rev. Rev, I know you're in government, but I won't ask you that question. Just give me your closing remarks.
I believe that we can create a great future if we can address this leadership issue, especially among the young ones. And so I really urge, the young ones to work on their mindset, because a lot depends there. The Bible says that as a man thinketh in his heart. So work on your mindset. A lot of the things is all about the mindset. So work on the mindset, take responsibility, and of course, rely on the grace of God. It'll work.
Thank you. And Prof. E, I'm not going to allow you to talk because I know they have a lot of questions for you. So let's take the question and then you talk then.